Roger Gros joining us now with Global Gaming Business. Thanks so much. By the way, the biggest trade magazine in the industry, right?
It is the largest. If you look at our number of pages for this month, yes, we are actually the biggest. But I like to think we're the most important just because we've been around longer than any of the other magazines.
That's awesome. And you've also been a reporter in this industry for how many years now?
For about 40 years now. Yeah.
Wow. And you were telling me a lot of what you have to do is really educate mainstream media.
Yes, I've spent a lot of time in my career talking to the mainstream media reporters, both on the print side and on the television side and radio for that matter, about what the industry is all about. There's a lot of misperceptions about the industry, and they bring that to their reporting. So I try to give them the context that they need to give a complete story.
Right. What kind of misperceptions do you commonly see?
There's always been questions about certain issues in the industry like bankruptcy. People gamble so much they go bankrupt. Crime follows the gaming industry wherever it goes. None of that is true. There's been studies done left and right that have disproved all of that kind of thing. The industry also is looked at as sometimes a little predatory, that they take money from people that can barely afford to buy food, which again is not true. The industry normal customer is somebody who's pretty well off, and they're using their discretionary income as gaming entertainment. So all these things are not necessarily true. But if you cherry pick it and you do, if you kind of look at anecdotal evidence, maybe you will find an instance or two of that. But in general, no, the industry is a good corporate citizen for the most part, and they really care about the people who are their customers.
And you really know this industry very well. You have been embedded in this industry because, as you said earlier, you actually were a dealer?
Yes, I started as a dealer in Atlantic City. I worked for Caesars and the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City. I worked for Steve Wynn. He used to come sit at our table when we were not working, and it was a fascinating time to be in the business. Remember, Atlantic City was the first place outside of Las Vegas where gaming was legal. So we learned a lot in Atlantic City. A lot of the people who started out with me as dealers or floor people in Atlantic City are now the top executives in the business. So it was a great learning environment, and it really taught me about the industry.
And how did you go into publication?
I was in school for journalism, and one day I'm in the dealer's lounge, and this little kind of newsletter floats through the dealer's lounge talking about how it is to work in the industry. So I called the guy up. I said, "Well, I'll write for you," and it just started like that. And in a couple of years, I was able to quit and work for him, and so I worked for him until about 2000 when I went out on my own, started my own magazine.
What are some of the things that you're seeing in the industry right now? Some of the challenges, changes, trends.
Well, sports betting is the big issue right now. Within the past year, there have been almost 20 states that have legalized it. Right now, there's 13 states where sports betting is legal and operating. So it's an exciting time for the business. It's changing the way the business is conducted, though, because it's bringing a lot of new people who had previously may not have gone to casinos into casinos to bet on sports. They really enjoy that. It's shrinking the illegal sports betting market, which is very positive, bringing tax revenue to the states and bringing more gaming revenue to the companies. So it's an exciting time for the business, and the leagues are now behind it. They're all excited about this is going to reinvigorate interest in their games. So pretty soon you're going to see sports books actually in the arenas and stadiums where games are conducted. So you can go bet on the game at that point. And of course, the biggest aspect of sports betting now is you can bet on your phone, your mobile phone or your mobile device. You just sit down on your couch, and you can also bet on what the next play is going to be. Is the guy going to get a hit? Is he going to strike out? Is it going to be a strike or a ball? You can make those
crazy?
bets.
Like, did you ever think we were eventually going to be able to do things from our phone? I mean,
it's crazy, and it's called in-play wagering, and it gives you all the opportunities to have fun and stay interested in the game. For example, if you bet a total, the game is going to go with a certain amount of points, even if it's 50-0, you're going to stick around and watch that game to see if it's going to hit your total one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it really keeps people interested in games that ordinarily they would walk away from.
What has been one of the biggest surprises for you being in this industry for as many years as you've been in it?
I think it's really how close knit this industry is. The people, as I said, I've been in the industry for 40 years. I've known people. I see people walking through the halls here at G2E that I've known for almost all that time. And
I've noticed people do not leave this industry. I literally walk around and it's like a fraternity or a sorority. You know, like I see groups of people who clearly are friends. It's like a friend business, right?
I've talked to a gentleman who's a GM at a small California casino. He said it's like the island of misfit toys. You know, we all landed on this island and we're not going to leave because we love it so much. You know,
it's the one industry you never hear anybody who works this industry, especially on the executive level. They all love it. I mean, they all work crazy hours and they all love that.
It is. At one point, my company decided, well, we cover casinos, we can cover hotels too. So we started covering the hospitality industry, and I went to a famous hospitality conference in New York a couple of times at the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and I got to meet the top guys in the hotel industry, and I came away from those conferences thinking, this is a boring industry. I mean, I was covering an industry that had Donald Trump and Steve Wynn as the top players in the industry, and here I'm talking to these guys, the head of Hilton Hotels, the head of Lowe's Hotels, and these guys are all buttoned up and they like each other, and there's no backbiting.
Yeah. There's no. It's not fun. It's not as fun as this, right?
So it's a great industry to cover, and I hopefully I'll retire from it one of these days, but I'll always stick around.
Yeah, you might as well enjoy it while you can, right?
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
So what do you see in the future? What's next for this industry?
The big thing now is, in our lives, we can buy things on the internet. We can go into a store and just buy something with our phone. You can't do that in gaming. You still have to come out of your pocket with cash. So I think the next big step is to be able to do that when you go into a casino. Just wave your phone in front of a slot machine, or you go to a table game and he's got a device where he scans your phone and he gives you the chips. And I think that's really the next big thing. And then when you cash out, you don't get the cash, it goes back into your account. I don't think it's as much fun as seeing the coins fall out of the machine like it used to do, but it's going to make it more seamless. And the kids these days, they never use cash. So if you want to get them into the gaming industry, you're going to have to make that next step into a cashless environment.
Very good. Anything else you want to tell me?
I just think that this is a great place to gather for the gaming industry, and even if you're brand new to the gaming industry, what a wonderful place this is to come to learn about it. You see every aspect of the industry. You see the tribal gaming aspect. You see the online gaming now, and again the sports betting. So this is a great place to be, and I'm just so glad to be here.
All right, Roger. Great talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you. Thanks for inviting me.